What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we finally got the translation of the BT7 FAQ. The lovely folks over at Game Academia have once again come out and given us the translation because they are awesome. And like I did say in the EX01 FAQ that we only actually got to last week, unfortunately, it's actually the lovely Jason Snowjacksy of the Facebook group that does provide the translation here. Because, frankly, and I've said this many times before, and I'm probably going to say this many times again, Jason Snowjacksy is awesome, and we should all feel very lucky someone that awesome is such a big part of the community. That dude rocks. But we have got a whole bunch of FAQ rulings to talk about. Incidentally, right, if you're going to play in the BT7 meta, you are going to need these rulings. So let's start off having a little bit of a chat about Kapurimon. Now, Kapurimon here comes along with one inheritable skill. While you have a Tamer in play, you get an extra 1,000 power. Does it matter what Tamer is in play? No, it says Tamer. It does not say Red Tamer or anything like that. Kapurimon comes along with one inheritable skill, being a level 2. On your turn, when this card is trashed because you activated Digiburst, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 power for the turn. Okay, does it activate first, or does Digiburst activate first? Digiburst. Essentially, Digiburst activates first, and then after you've resolved that, I've Digiburst and gotten rid of it, that's lower by 1,000 power. Doraemon has an inheritable skill that says on your turn, once per turn, when one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, you draw a card. Well, does this work when I evolve my Digimon that has this card in its evolution sources? No. Even if you evolve Digimon with an effect, it doesn't count as increasing the number of evolution sources. Sorry about that, you're just evolving. And if I add 2 or more evolution sources at the same time, do I get to draw that many cards? We've seen this ruling before, the answer's no. It's not draw 1 card for each card you put under, it's did you put cards under, yes or no? If yes, draw 1 card. Now, we've got Kakumon here with an inheritable skill. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck when you attack, you discard a Tamer, and return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. Do you have to discard a Tamer card if one was revealed? Yes. You get a choice of whether you reveal the cards or not, but if you choose to reveal the cards and there is a Tamer, then you unfortunately have to get rid of the Tamer. You don't have a choice at that stage. You can choose not to reveal the cards, but when you do reveal the cards, you've got to go for it. Now, Burning Greymon comes along. When you Digivolve into it, if it's Digivolving from a Tamer, you can do it from a 2 cost, which is cool. And when Digivolving, if your Digivolution cards have Hybrid in its form or Takuya Kambara, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 power or less. And there are a bunch of rulings here. When a Tamer card evolves into this, do the security effects become evolution source effects? No. Remember, we've seen this ruling before. Security effects on Tamers do not become evolution source effects. Although remember, in BT7 for the first time, we do actually have Tamers with evolution effects. Can I evolve this from a level 3 Digimon instead of a Tamer card? Well, yes, you can. It's for a free cost. We know that. After you evolve a Tamer card into it, can that Tamer card receive the effects of your opponent's effect that discard evolution sources? Yes. As soon as the Tamer is under there, you count it like a Digimon, so it can be discarded with effects that target your evolution sources, etc. Do I draw a card from the evolution bonus when I evolve a Tamer into this card? Yes, you're evolving, you draw a card. Can this card attack on the turn it evolves from a Tamer? Yes. Can it attack on the turn it evolves from a Tamer if the Tamer was only played this turn? No, you cannot attack with a Digimon that was played this turn. And when this Digimon has a Tamer card in its evolution sources and it is deleted, what happens to the Tamer card? It goes to your trash. like anything else, quite frankly. There we go. Now, Metal Greymon, when you play it, if you have a Tamer in play, you gain 2 memory. If you don't, you can play a red Tamer from your hand without paying for it. And there is an evolution skill here. On your turn, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon is deleted, you gain a memory. Well, if I play this card when I don't have a Tamer in play, then play a red Tamer using the effect, hey, I've got a Tamer in play, do I gain 2 memory? No, unfortunately. Because when you played it, you didn't have a red Tamer in play. If I delete 2 or more of my opponent's Digimon at the same time, do I gain 1 memory for each one deleted? No, it's just like we said above. You don't get 1 memory per deletion. You get 1 memory if there were any deletions. There we go. Moving on then, we've got Oldemon here. Now we got an Inheritable Skill here. On your turn, while it's a hybrid form or 10 warriors types, option cards checked by the security do not activate security effects. Okay. Well, do the security effects of Digimon and Tamer cards activate if they come out? Yes. Because it specifically says option cards that come out of the security don't get security skills, which means that any other type of cards absolutely do. Now, Avenge Kidmon comes in here, and what we've got here is when you're playing it from your hand, you reduce your memory cost by 1 for each option card in your opponent's trash. And when you play, you return all cards with 3 musketeers in their traits, and all option cards from both players' trashes to the bottom of their owner's decks. And if 7 or more cards were returned in this way, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3 musketeers, or 8,000 power or less. Okay. Is the play cost reduced by the number of option cards in my trash or my opponent's trash only? No, it is the total number of option cards, which is great. And who decides the order of the cards being put from the trash onto the bottom of the deck? The owner of those cards. So you decide for you, and your opponent decides for them. Now, Emperor Greymon comes along here, and what we've got is a skill whereby on your turn, once per turn, when you're blocked, you unsuspend and gain 1 memory for each Digimon with hybrid in its form in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. So if you attack and your opponent blocks, and your opponent has a when your opponent's Digimon attacks effect, do they activate first? Or does your skill activate first? This card activates first. As the effect is triggered by your opponent's activation of blocker, it will activate first, due to the rule that gives priority to effects that are newly triggered. Now, Chaostromon comes along here, and new card, first time we've ever seen this one, which is rather lovely. And when Digivolving, you may place a red or black level 5 Digimon with Cyborg in its type from your hand or trash to the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and then for each level 5 Digimon with Cyborg in its type, in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 power or less. Well, if my opponent doesn't have any 6,000 power or less Digimon in play, can I still activate the skill to put a red or black level 5 Cyborg into my evolution sources? Yes, you can. You do that, then you look for Digimon to delete. There are no Digimon to delete, so you go about your day. Moving over on into blue, we've got Gomamon. When it's played from your Digivolution cards, you draw 2. Well, if my Digimon with this card in its effects receives D-Digivolve, and the top card becomes discarded, do I get to draw 2? No! That's not playing Gomamon, that's having it de-digivolved into. It's creative thinking, but we knew that was never going to work, right? There was like no chance that was ever going to actually work. Fun idea, never going to work. Now we got Kumamon here that is a hybrid Digimon, but here we've got the same rulings we just saw with hybrid Digimon above. These are pretty long videos, we don't need to repeat all of them. I've already gone through them. Similarly, we've got Kendo Garurumon here that has the exact same 7 rulings. We don't need to go through them. It's just, no, not necessary. Now, we then have Kakumon, and we got the same 7 rulings, but we've got a new one as well. So we've got a Digivolving skill whereby if you have a card with Hybrid in its traits or Tommy-Himi in your Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can neither attack or block until the end of their next turn. Well, if a Digimon is unable to attack or block due to this effect, and it then gains an evolution source afterwards, can it now attack or block, given that you could only target it before because it had no Digivolution sources? No. Essentially, at the moment of Digivolution, you can target it if it has no Digivolution sources, and then it can't attack or block. That effect has already been put on it. Gutted, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. Gutted. Now, there is a new Garurumon coming in here, and when you play it, if you have a Tamer in play, you gain 2 memory. If you don't have a Tamer in play, you may play a blue Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. So it's the same ruling as we saw a moment ago. If you don't have a Tamer in play, you play one, but you don't gain 2 memory because when you played it, you didn't have a blue Tamer in play. Now, Whammon is one that I am pretty excited about. When you play it, you can play a level 3 Digimon card from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards as another Digimon, and if you do, you may place a blue Digimon from your hand to the bottom of one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. Well, alright then. Can I place a Digimon from my hand to this Digimon's evolution source, even though I just played it? Yeah, no, you can, you're totally fine. And when you play that level 3 Digimon, if it comes from a Digimon in rest, does that mean it is played in rest? Suspended? No. It is played as a separate Digimon, so it is played unsuspended, nor does it take any of the effects of that suspended Digimon. It is just played as a new Digimon, which is rather lovely. Now, King Whammon is one that I am very, very excited about, because this sounds like fun. But it's got a skill on your turn. When you play a Digimon from one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards, you return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its hand, trashing all the Digivolution cards. Okay. Well, when my Digimon with evolution sources gets de-Digivolved and becomes a Digimon that was in the evolution sources, does that activate the skill? No! Because it's not played, it's just revealed by Digivolution. De-Digivolution. That is not the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Not even close. Now, Magna Garurumon comes around, and we've actually got a skill which can be used when attacking or when evolving. And then you return one of your Digimon with hybrid from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to your hand, and then you return one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level to their hand. Well, it's got 2 timings. What does that mean? It means the effect will activate when you evolve and when you attack. If you evolve, it's a when evolving effect, and then every other turn, it's a when attacking effect. There we go. This card's when evolving, when attacking is once per turn. Does that mean it activates once when you're evolving into it, and once when you attack on the same turn? No. The turn you evolve, it activates, and then you cannot activate it when attacking. It is the subsequent turns where it becomes a when attacking effect. Be good otherwise, but maybe too good. Moving over into yellow, we've got Razermon here. When this card is trashed due to activating Digiburst, you return it to your hand. Does this activate before or after Digiburst? After. We saw that one above. Boutmon comes along here, and I think this might be the first Boutmon we've seen. On your opponent's turn, when your opponent's Digimon attacks the player, if you have 3 or more security, you may unsuspend this Digimon. Well, when my Digimon with blocker that has this card in its evolution sources is suspended, and my opponent's Digimon attacks, can I activate this card's evolution source effect, and then immediately block? Yes, you can. You're attacking, oh I unsuspend, hey I'm unsuspended, now I can block straight away. It incidentally is one of the things that makes Baltmon really good. If you can Digivolve this into a blocker, this is a super powerful card that people are absolutely going to get excited about. Now, Stefelmon is coming in here, and we've got a rather lovely skill, Inheritable Skill. When this card is trashed due to activating Digiburst, one of your Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn. When does it activate? After Digiburst. We've seen that already. Now, we do have Razermon coming in here, and it's got a couple of skills. When you Digivolve from your hand, the memory cost is equal to the number of cards in your security. If you have 0 security cards, the memory cost is 1. And then you've got Digiburst up to 4, and one of your opponent's Digimon gets -3000 for the turn for each card trashed by this effect. So when you're evolving from the hand, if other effects reduce the evolution cost, what happens to the evolution cost? You will pay the evolution cost that is the same number as the number of security you have, minus the evolution cost reduced by other effects. So if you've got 4 security and another effect that reduces it by 2, you will pay a total of 2 memory. This card's Digiburst effect discards up to 4 evolution sources. Can I activate it if I've only got 3? Yeah, of course you can. If you've only got 3 or less, you can still activate as long as you discard at least 1. And if I discard 2 evolution sources, can I -3000 to 2 different Digimon? No. You trash up to 4, and then you target a single Digimon to take -3000 for each 1 card that you discarded. That's really important. It would be way better if it was a different way, but it would also be kind of cheating. Now, BT7 comes along here. It is a hybrid Digimon, so we've got those same 7 rulings we saw before. I don't intend to repeat myself, but there is one new ruling here as well. So we've got a Digivolution skill here. You reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, and you may add a card with hybrid in its traits and a JB Shibayama to your hand, placing the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So does that mean I have to hit both of them in order to take them? No, we've seen this ruling before. You can add just the Digimon, or just the Tamer, or if you are lucky enough to hit both, you can take both. Now, we also do have a Metal Capitarium here, but it's a hybrid. We've got the same 7 rulings we saw before, and I have no interest in repeating myself. Mammotyramon here, we've actually got 5 rulings here, which is pretty gosh darn high. We got a skill whereby when you are attacking, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you may Digivolve this Digimon into a green level 6 Digimon that you find without paying its memory cost, placing the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay. Well, when this card evolves into a green level 6, does its when attacking effect activate? No. You've already done the when attacking effect. That's when you evolve up. By the time you evolve up, that time has passed. Must you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck? Yes. It is a you must, not a you may, assuming you have 3 cards, of course. When this card's when attacking effect reveals a green level 6 Digimon, must I evolve into the card? No. Because that is you may. So you have to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You don't have to Digivolve into the one you find, which is good, because otherwise that could really mess you up if you hit the wrong one. When this card's when attacking effect reveals 2 or more green level 6 Digimon, do you get a choice? Well, yes, obviously. And when evolving from this card's when attacking effect, do I draw a card because I evolved? Yeah, of course you do. You're evolving. You draw a card. Life is good. Rhino Cavitarimon here. When one of your Digimon with a Tamer card in its Digivolution cards Digivolves into this from your hand, reduce the cost by 2. As in it's a 1 cost to Digivolve from a Digimon that is Digivolved from a Tamer. And when attacking, if a card with Hybrid or Insectoid in its traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon can Digivolve into a Digimon card with Insectoid or 10 Warriors in its traits in your hand for a memory cost of 3. Lovely. So, when this card attacks, if it has a hybrid stage or insect type card in its evolution sources, must you evolve into an insect or 10 warriors from your hand? No. It says you can, so you can choose not to evolve. After paying the memory cost to evolve from this card's when attacking effect, the memory is put to 1 or more on my opponent's side. What happens to the attack? You continue. It's like we've seen before. You have to resolve the attack before you pass the turn. So let's say you've got the EX1 Kapurimon here. That's a one that when you are attacking, you can Digivolve this card into one Digimon with Insectoid in its type from your hand, as long as you pay the evolution cost. Well, can I continue to use the when attacking effect to evolve right up into a level 6? No, because like we've seen, when you attack with Kapurimon here, that essentially ends the when attacking phase, so by the time you get to Rhino Cavitarimon here, you are no longer in that when attacking phase, you are just in the attack. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. And does this card's when attacking effect let it evolve into an insect or 10 warrior type from my hand while ignoring the evolution requirements? No. You've got to follow the evolution rules like you usually would. And we do just need to finish off then with a Bonwamon. Now this is one of my very favourite cards from the set. It looks very, very cool indeed. When you are Digivolving, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and gain 1 for each of their suspended Digimon. On your opponent's turn, they all gain on your turn. You may trash a card in your hand to unsuspend this Digimon, i.e. they no longer naturally unsuspend. For this card's opponent's turn effect, if my opponent has 2 or more Digimon to be put active, can they just trash 1 card from their hand to unsuspend them all? Nope. 1 card for each Digimon to be put active. Must my opponent discard cards from their hand to put their Digimon to active? Only when they're being put active by effects? No. Other than being put active by effects, your opponent must discard cards from their hand even when they have Digimon to be put to active in their active phase. My opponent has this Digimon in play. I have 3 Digimon in rest. If I do not have 3 or more cards in hand, does that mean I am unable to discard cards from my hand to put my Digimon to active? No. You choose to either discard a card from your hand or not for each of your Digimon. So as long as you've got some cards in hand, you can trash to unsuspend some of your Digimon. Must I discard 1 card from hand to put my Tamer in rest to active due to this card's opponent's turn effect? No. It targets Digimon, not Tamers. And if I have 2 of this Digimon in play, does my opponent now have to trash 2 cards from their hand to put each Digimon active? Yeah, they do. That's harsh, ladies and gentlemen. That's harsh. And that's going to do it for part 1 of the FAQ. These FAQs tend to be very long. We are going as quick as we can, but we need to go through these rulings. Like I've said, it is very important to go through these rulings. If you're playing the game, you need to know them. So we're going to take a break now and come back tomorrow with the rest of the rulings. As always, I want to know what you think about the rulings. I want to know if any of these are particularly good for you, if any of these don't make any sense, if you've got any other questions, or basically whatever you want to tell us. For me, the Kapurimon not being allowed to keep Digivolving is kind of rubbish, but your Bulkmon being able to unsuspend and immediately block, that sounds pretty good to me. But now it's over to you guys, so go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.